Hello and welcome to this course. I'm super excited to teach you Elasticsearch, but before we get started, I want to take a short moment to introduce myself and the course. My name is Bo Anderson and I'll be your instructor for this course. I'm a software engineer from Denmark. I started out doing backend web development for a number of small companies, before eventually transitioning more into the data analysis space. I've worked for online marketing companies my whole career, so finding value in data has naturally been a big part of my job. Besides teaching here at Udemy, I'm a partner and CTO at a software as a service company, also in the online marketing industry. As part of that, I use Elasticsearch and the Elastic Stack on a daily basis for powering our business. This includes data analysis, application performance management, and log management. As a developer, I have experience with many other technologies, as you can see on your screen. I don't want to ramble on too much about myself, so that was just a quick overview of why I believe I'm qualified to teach you Elasticsearch. So that was a bit about me, but what about you? Perhaps you already have some experience with Elasticsearch, or perhaps you don't. This course starts from the absolute beginning and guides you through the process of learning Elasticsearch step by step. Maybe you tried to begin learning Elasticsearch, but found yourself struggling to figure out where to begin. Maybe this is you. If so, you have come to the right place. I see that a lot, because let's face it, the Elasticsearch documentation is not always great. It contains a lot of details, but it's more of an API reference than a guide. If you look up one concept, you will often find that it expects you to already know of another concept, which in turn may require you to understand something else. Elasticsearch is a pretty complex technology, and figuring out where to start can be challenging. Even planning out this course was a challenge for me, and I have worked with Elasticsearch for years. Whatever experience you have or don't have with Elasticsearch, you have come to the right place. I've put a lot of effort into introducing concepts gradually, instead of giving you an information overload. This doesn't mean that you won't need the documentation though. It's impossible to cover all details of Elasticsearch, but I have taken the most important concepts and included them in the course. Elasticsearch provides a huge number of configuration options, and I don't want to bore you with stuff that you will most likely never need. The scope of this course is Elasticsearch and not the Elastic Stack as a whole. We'll be using Kibana to easily send queries to Elasticsearch, but other than that, we'll focus our attention on Elasticsearch specifically. The reason for that is that Elasticsearch by itself is a hugely complex technology, and if I were to cover the whole Elastic Stack, I would not be able to go in detail with anything. The Elastic Stack includes quite a few products, and more products are added frequently. My approach is to cover Elasticsearch specifically and go into a lot of detail, and then cover other parts of the Elastic Stack in separate courses. You can find a couple of courses here at Udemy that claim to cover the entire Elastic Stack though. While that's technically true, you will find that they barely scratch the surface on topics such as Logstash and Kibana. I don't believe that's the best approach, because you can find 10 to 20 minute tutorials on YouTube that cover the same things. That's why my approach is to go in depth with each technology or product, and that requires me to split things up into multiple courses, as things would otherwise become a huge mess. So if you're interested in other parts of the Elastic Stack, then I encourage you to check out my other courses here at Udemy. Alright, so what will you learn in this course? You will learn how to write complex queries against the data stored in Elasticsearch. This involves defining conditions for which data you want your queries to match, which is useful for a number of different use cases. A few examples are for implementing search functionality on a website or within an app, data analysis, APM, log management, server monitoring, security, etc. This course does not cover a specific use case, so you'll be able to apply the concepts to whatever use case you're working with. That being said, you will learn the concepts required to build a modern search engine, including handling synonyms, stemming, search as you type, auto-completion, and tuning of relevance scores. Apart from that, we'll also cover aggregations, which is key for analyzing lots of data. For more details about what's covered in this course, I encourage you to check out the curriculum, as what I just mentioned is just a part of the content that you'll find. Alright, so just a bit of practical information about the course. For your convenience, you can access all of the queries and commands that you see me type throughout the course within a GitHub repository. This means that you can follow along and just copy and paste the queries without having to type them out manually all of the time. It should also be a good reference for you in case you forget how to do something. I've attached a link to the repository to this lecture, so remember that you can find all of the queries and commands that you see me type within the repository. Also, I want to remind you that captions are available for this course. So if you prefer to have the spoken words written out on your screen during the lectures, then be sure to enable those within the video player. And with that, let's get started learning Elasticsearch.